Okay, and we're live. Hey, everybody, thank you so much. Welcome again to another interview. And this subject, we are once again still sticking with what the Gnomes Know, that Kickstarter anthology coming soon. I've got one of our contributors with us, one of our creators who also has work and experience, spanning several years as well as several locations. So we'll get into that. So I want to say welcome to Jess Tweed. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
It's
So,
going good.
all right,
Hi,
this Monday.
Ben.
Okay, so we're
Started
on
off good.
Monday. We got a comment. So we got Ben. So Ben's already there. In the comment section, we'll say hi to Ben. So check out Ben's podcast tomorrow. And let's go ahead and get to it. So first things first, Jess, let's check in with the Kickstarter and see where we're at on our Kickstarter for what the gnomes know, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. So scroll up to what the gnomes know. Right now, our goal, okay, we've made the initial pledge goal of 2,738. But what we want to do with that number tonight is get that number moving some more. We're going to beat this algorithm, everybody. So if you're listening, for watching, even just sharing the bare minimum, will get you not only a copy of the book digitally, I believe, as well as help boost the signal for what we're doing. So $10. Oh no, you can pledge $10 without a reward, and you'll just get an e high five because you believe in us and you want to support independent creators and you like gnomes. Now, as to when you start getting stuff for you, you can also pledge $10, the same amount, and get that PDF copy for yourself. So that way you don't have to go home alone with nothing in your hands. And with just the E5, you'll also get the book too. So at the minimum, $10 will help get this thing going. But I think we can do more. Because if we're able to get this goal another under $800 more, that unlocks a special expanded Q&A section, I believe, of the anthology. So where you can get some behind the scenes supplemental material, that kind of like, content, extra content that people want in their book, especially if you've enjoyed a book or a trade or an anthology, you get to the end, you're like, I kind of want more. So, behind the scenes look and learning how each person kind of approach their way of doing their submission, that would be included if we hit that what do you call it, that stretch goal. So we're going for, I believe we're going for 3,500. Let me check with Ben. He's the numbers person. I don't do math. I do comics. So $10. He confirmed $10 does get you a PDF copy of what the gnomes know. We're gonna say hi to Alex, another contributor, Alex Washburn. I believe Alex was just not on not too long ago with Ben. And then I believe that if we get to 3,500, for that unlocks that stretch goal. That gives you more content in the book. And then even beyond that, there's things that it also, not only that, it also lets us contributors get more copies. So yeah, at 35, okay, here we go. Here are the details. At 3,500, we'll add the Q&A section once we hit 4,500. We're also including behind the scenes peek, working files, constant art, etc. So this thing just gets more and more robust the more and more we hit. All right, and not to mention the fact that it also helps us contributors individually to be able to get more copies of the book and also spread the message and just kind of like have it at our table. So 3,500 gets a Q&A, as Rayner's saying, another contributor. Okay, and this gets this is the one we're trying to hit tonight. So let's make a goal just to get us going. Let's just see if we can get going tonight. All right. Let me share my screen and show you what I'm talking about. We're going to talk with Jess for a while here. So Jess and I are going to not only show you what the Kickstarter looks like right now, but we'll also go and peek real quick at Jess's own contribution and to the what the gnomes know. So let's go and do that. Let me go ahead and try this technology thing out where I get to share the screen, present, share screen. I have to say it out loud because if I don't say it out loud, I won't know what I'm doing. And we're going to do a Chrome tab, and that is this. Okay. All right. I think I'm still alive, everybody. Okay. Can you see me? See the mouse moving?
Yeah, I see.
Yes. Okay. So this is what the Gnomes Know, a comics anthology. As you can see, 2,738. 16 days to go. That's a little bit over 2 weeks if we count the weekends, right? We need that number to be at 3,500. Okay. We need to get this Q&A unlocked because I know you want to know more about how this was all done. All right. I know you want to be introduced to process, especially those of you who are creators yourselves or thinking about creating anthology or comics. you know you want the process, you know you want the behind the scenes, you know you want to know how the sausage is made, you know how the cookies are baked, et cetera, et cetera. So let's go and check out Jess's stuff right here. We're going to scroll past some of these other contributors that we've already talked about, but you can go to the link that's already up on the ticker box if you're following the thing. What is the thing, right? It's the StreamYard. It's what we're doing right now. Okay, so I have the best words, so supposedly. Okay, I almost passed it. Thistle. What a great name. What a thematic name for when we talk about gnomes. Here's some sequentials and some panels and everything like that. This is Jess's work. Jess is our guest right here. So let's go ahead and Jess, would you want to read the description? Are you able to see it, or is it too small on your end?
I think it's pretty tiny.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll read it then.
Yeah, you read it.
Okay. So, a young gnome makes a deal to help a friend in need, but becomes in need of help himself. So, a little bit about Jess Tweed, makes comments about daily life in anime. I have plenty of cues of anime stored up between me and this household. Find more of Jess's work at drillhaircomics.com and on Instagram at drillhair. But we're going to get to those social media links. We're going to keep providing you with links. We can drop those into comments if you want to check those out while we're talking. Just open up another tab and everything like that. But yeah, we want to get to these goals. So $10 gets you a PDF copy. $30 gets you somebody that I used to know. Okay, so so that's a paperback edition as well as a PDF. So you can watch it on your device, read it on your device, as well as have it next to the bed, or when you're on those long trips to Granny's house for this fall break happening, or not fall break, but the next couple of breaks that happen, and you just need to do something else besides listen to auto tune on the radio. Okay, moving on. $60 gets you Mig Gnome Train to Georgia. So that is a PDF edition and a hardcover edition. So if any flies come in your vicinity or gnats and you need to take care of business, you can let them know. You hear that? Let them know. How things go down. Around you when in the humidity. Okay, so one of our special ones are already gone, but we do have our special ones are gone. Do we have any? Yeah. So it looks like we killed the early bird specials, and we killed some of the higher price items. So given that we've done that already, you really want to. Sorry, I'm scrolling really fast, like as if I'm the only one watching the screen, right? I hope I didn't make anybody nauseous. You really do want to get us to these stretch goals so that way we can unlock more content and more material for you. Okay, I'm going to stop presenting for now, and we're going to get back to Jess and my mug. So here we are. Okay, so we've got, on a personal note, hold on, Ben's got personal notes to share with us. Let's see what Ben, this is about Jess. Just kidding. Okay, go ahead. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so Ben is right. Ben is looking out for us. Ben's got our best needs in mind. 3,500 will get us, Jess and I, and Ben. I'm a contributor. Jess is more copies to sell at cons, and then 4,500 will get us some more money. I need to get gifts for my kids. So come on, figure this out, people. All right. Okay, moving on. What else have we got? Less Than Secret has a Q&A and behind the scenes at the end, and we really want to include it again. So this is precedent. This is not something new. They've already been doing this. And I believe Jess is also part of that anthology as well.
Yeah,
right?
I am. Yes. And so, the Q&A and everything was really fun to do last time.
Was it? Okay, so it was definitely worth checking out then. All right, so Less Than Secret is the first anthology from Canon, right? I believe, or one of the first. And then What the Gnomes Know is the follow-up that Jess and I are a part of. And Ben's got more. Okay. Breaking news. Just released breaking news as far as the live stream goes. Breaking news, we just released the Pride Gnome sticker packs as an add-on. So at the end, when they collect your pledge and this thing is wrapped up in 16 days, you can add on a sticker pack that is Pride Gnome themed by our very own Kelsey. Okay, Kelsey Crawford. I think I got the name right. Yeah. I was just scolding my son about not learning the names of his friends because it's kind of rude, and then I can't even remember last names half the time. So, what is that? Do as I say, not as I do. So, anyways, okay. So bad parenting aside, let's get to you, Jess. Okay, let's go ahead and put up. If you want to check out Jess's work, we've got some banners here that you can check out. Let's go ahead and start with the Kickstarter, bring that back, and then let's go ahead and put the website first. So we're going to get to this in person as far as live checking out the website. But those of you that can't wait and want to check it out, you can check out the website link there. I'll leave it up for a minute, and then we're gonna go ahead and get into stuff about the Kickstarter as well as things about the about Jess's work. Okay, I probably repeated myself too many times. Let's move on. Jess, again, thank you for coming. So, Jess, for those people that don't know, where are you from? You can make up any destination if you want to. You don't have to, be factual.
Okay. I mean, I guess factually, I'm from New Jersey. And then I've sort of lived all around the Northeast. It's one of my friends, Luther, in the chat. Hi, Luther.
Hi, Luther. Welcome.
And I've lived a bunch of different places. Just in I don't know, in New Jersey, in New York, not Manhattan, like other places in New York, and Vermont, and Connecticut.
Okay. All right. And you attended which school for cartooning and comics?
The Center for Cartoon Studies.
Center for Cartoon Studies. So that is one of our sister schools or sibling schools for those of you that know where I'm from as far as School for Comics, which is California College of the Arts. All right. So, and did you learn anything about comics or cartooning while you were there?
I think I did, yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Oh my God. I mean.
All right. Were you vetted? Were you vetted or not? So.
Yeah. I pulled a lot of all-nighters while I was there.
Oh, I used to love those 11-hour workshop days. We're like, hey, you just spent 11 hours working on comics and being in classes, and now you get to go home for several more hours and do the homework and have it ready to go by the next day. So is that how it kind of went for you all?
Not really.
What?
No, like I think we had like 1 or 2 weeks to do most of our projects, but then I procrastinated all of them and then still did them on the last day.
I don't like to think of it as procrastination. I'd like to think of us artists and cartoonists and comic creators as just storing up for the spirit bomb, the big spirit bomb. If you're
exactly
anime, we're just getting the energy and the mana from everybody.
I just sort of spent a lot of time like visualizing the comic, manifesting the comic.
Yeah.
And then only the last couple of days, it's like, I just know it's fine. Like it's all up here. I just have to put it down there.
Yeah. So, I kind of know how that goes. So let's go ahead and talk about briefly your time, there. Well, for those that don't know, what is it like going to a school that specifically specializes in teaching comics and cartooning as opposed to maybe a regular college or academia? So let's dispel some myths or let's create some new myths. So
it's like I don't really know how to describe it. I think the really nice thing is that like I didn't have to waste time learning other forms of art that I knew I wasn't going to like do, like you don't have to really take any like 101 courses, there's no, it's not like you have to learn the basics of like painting and drawing and all this other stuff. Like, it's kind of assumed that like you came here because you wanted to do comics and you already know enough about art. Like you kind of have to know the basics to get in, and so they don't really need to reteach you the basics.
Okay.
So you kind of just get right into it.
So I did it wrong completely. I went to all these other colleges and then finally went to the MFA. But okay. Yeah. All right. So see, work smarter, not harder. All right. Now this was for an MFA?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was your bachelor's in? Did you have a different specialty?
Engineering.
Engineering. Okay. Engineering. Wow. Okay. So you're like Bob Corby. The one Bob Corby runs Space here in Columbus, Ohio, and does Comics.
Oh, cool.
So Bob's just retired as an engineer, lifelong engineer. But so engineer. So I tend to think they're better at proportions and math and page specs and all that. Ask an engineer.
That's an area that I tend to find really interesting. Of course, fun fact about the Gnomes project. I did my math wrong and drew all of my pages at the wrong aspect ratio and had to spend some time fixing them. But normally I don't do that. So like, I do think I tend to approach I tend to approach pages kind of analytically, and I like to think about sort of I don't know, like if I'm sort of drawing your eye to an area of the page, like I like to do it very intentionally. Like there's a lot of mentally, like I'm purposefully guiding you here and here and here in this order.
All right, nice. Yeah, definitely. That's one of the things I love about our medium is being able to almost like try to control where things happen and where interest lies and all that, even in between the panels, the gutter. Or what's said, that's one of the really, really interesting things about our medium that I love. I usually ask an engineer how to where do I draw, and can I go over the edge? No, okay, so always nice to know more engineers in comics. Yeah, okay, so then you did your engineering, and then you chose to go with cartooning and comics for your for MFA, and then fast forward, and now you're doing gnomes and gnome anthologies. So let's the math for the gnome pages could get tricky. Yes, so that's what so I guess you weren't the only one. So here we
go. I mean, for
so.
Less Than Secret, the other anthology we did, I did that one digitally, like from the beginning. So it was really easy to just like plug in the specs into like Clip Studio, and it would put together the pages. But this time I really wanted to do the pencil and inking by hand, which then meant that I had to like enlarge the given how much we were I don't know I had to enlarge the specs by hand, and I did it wrong.
Well, it's awesome that you mentioned that, because that gets me into my next question. And then we also have a question from Ben in the comments. But my next question was going to ask you about your process and your approach to doing your submission for this anthology. And you kind of just already compared it to the last one, but let's get into it a little bit. Why did you decide to go analog or traditional versus digital?
So I think the whole time that I've been doing comics, which really mostly just, aside from like random projects before then, like let's say like starting with my time at CCS, I've been sort of 50-50 on doing stuff by hand and like fully digital. And I just find that I enjoy it more by hand. Like the digital comics, like I kind of can't deny that they look better. When I look at my line art for something that I've done digitally, I'm just like, wow, it's really perfect, right? But like it's not fun. It's not as fun to do. So that's why all of my like diary comics that are on my Instagram are all by hand. And I've been trying to do more of that just because I like it more. It just feels much more satisfying to me to like just like move a pen in person.
So it's almost like you're like co-hosting this, because you're leading me to my next questions.
Good.
The diary comics, the website, and on your Instagram. So I actually thought it was a little bit difficult in a good way to tell your digital comics that you did in Clip Studio versus your regular diary comics that you would do with pit pens. You still were able to pull up the rawness, out of those. And unlike me, where I feel like I'm just ice skating on the iPad, so kinesthetically, I do like that little bit of resistance in the scratch that you get from working analog. But let's show people what we're talking about rather than just talk about it. Let's be about it. So let me go ahead and share. Do you want to share to the Instagram first, or do you want to go ahead and go to the website to show them some of your work, and we can kind of get into it?
I don't know.
Let's do it. Okay, I got the Instagram already up here, and we also you mentioned Instagram. Let's go to the Instagram first, and then we'll go ahead and get back to one of the questions that we have waiting for us, and then we'll go to the website, and then we'll get really into the weeds. So all right. Oh, excuse me, tweets. Okay, my bad.
Oh,
okay.
That's good fun.
So okay, all right. Let me do this thing again. This time I'm going to try and quietly do it underneath my breath, so nobody knows that I'm. Oh, that's just, I don't like the pause. Never mind. I got to talk. All right. So let's see here. All right. Okay. So for those of you that are just tuning in or were wondering what we were talking about as far as Instagram goes, so Jess Tweed, Drill Hair at Drill Hair on Instagram is where you can find a lot of nice diary comics and just some photos from shows and everything like that. So Which one would you want us to check out first, Jess? Just out of these
I
ones?
think if you scroll down a bit, any of the ones with Deadline Sean are my favorites.
And is that right here? Okay.
Little, yeah, there we go.
Okay.
The one with
By the
pops in
way,
her
this
hair.
is impressive. It almost looks like it's one type of thing. These three.
Oh yeah,
I
know.
It almost looks like a triptych. Yeah. So okay. So let's start with this one. This reminds me of an anime I used to watch.
So this is actually that's the last one in the Deadline Chan series.
Oops.
So you're starting
Spoilers.
at the end. But that's that's Instagram, it's you have to keep scrolling down to get to the beginning.
Yeah. So then so I love the splashes of red. This is really my aesthetic. Line quality wise, line art wise, this is not something that I can pull off that well. Not like how you've got right here. I tend to go a little bit more aggressive, but the color aesthetics and the values are something I really, really enjoy using. But I really like the combination of these stark, values in this red, this really bold red, but then along with that line quality that has a little bit of an anime-esque, it's really, really I don't want to say kawaii. I don't want to sound like I'm talking down or anything like that, but
Deadline Chan is purposefully supposed to be like an anime girl.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, there we go.
There's the diary comics are like me, but then Deadline Chan is like the one part that's sort of not like real. She's just sort of a an anime representation of how my deadlines feel. I was working on I was working on a long project, and I had really let all of it kind of build up to the last couple months, and I was just starting to freak out. But I was still I still wanted to do a diary comic every day when I could, to just sort of as like a warm up. And I don't know, that's how I wanted to represent my deadlines. And this is still that's my favorite overall part of the diary comics that I've done. They're just a lot of fun.
It's a bio pick. It's like an author's bio on the back of the book. It's got it's got leverage to be able to do so many things. But I also tuned in on this. It caught my eye because of the Control V and the scribbling, and we were just talking about analog versus digital and all that. So I just thought it was kind of funny how you literally have an image on that. I want to talk about your diary comics here soon, eventually, because there's something that I noticed on your website in regard to your diary comics. But we'll go ahead and wait for that. But yeah, you can go to Jess Tweed's again at Drill Hair on Instagram to check out these comics that we're talking about. If you're just listening or if you're actually tuning in, you can see me kind of panning down. And I don't want to jump and click on everyone because I would like you to discover it for yourself at your own pace and at your leisure. So, but there's definitely lots of good stuff on here. I'm taking notes, Jess. I mean, this looks like really nice formatted and controlled Instagram. So mine's just kind of a confetti of whatever. So, okay. So back to our question that I know is patiently waiting for us. So let's go ahead and go back to that. Ben had a question. We're going back to the engineer thing subject, and he had kind of wanted to weigh in on that as far as your creative process and your background. So here we go.
Ooh.
Does your engineering background affect your mechanical artwork, machines, buildings, backgrounds, etc.?
It's really
or influence or inspire. That's what I wonder.
It's very funny. I actually suck at all of those things. I mean, I know maybe I just think about it because I'm comparing myself to Mary, who was also in my class at CCS, who was just really incredible at drawing mechanical stuff. But I think the thing that I'm best at is drawing people. And gotcha. So I just when I'm sketching, I've never been one of those people that sketches buildings. Sometimes I want to because I think it looks really cool, just a sketch of a building. But the thing that I tend to do most is just people's facial expressions and
gotcha.
Stuff like that. So I always feel like I'm not that good at buildings. But that's probably why I'm not an engineer anymore. Yeah. It's probably
that's probably why you turned to comics. So
yeah.
So we have dolls
right now I work in
graphic
design. So
nice. I too have had some experience with graphic design. No, what does he say? Oh, no, I was thinking about William Dafoe, Spider-Man. Sorry. Anyways, bad meme. Okay. Yeah. So we've got Dolls of the Cat joining us. So welcome. Um, I
Is this cat as in like the cat that's in the anthology? Is that you?
I'm assuming you can let us know. Wildcat, let us know in the comments, Cat, if you're one of us.
I'm like,
and
I feel like I can't tell, like, because your little your profile picture is too tiny for me to tell if it's your art.
Oh yeah, well it's really nice art. So it's really like oh, so then Ben's got this observation. So all the lefties in the group are here. So are you left-handed too?
Is that the two of us? Because
I know. Well,
yeah, I'm
I'm
left-handed.
left-handed. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
left-handed, and I guess almost everyone else in the chat is left-handed. Is that what you're saying, Ben? Yes. Oh no, Rainer said yes. Okay, so yes to Cat.
Oh, okay,
Waiting on
good.
the left-handed conspiracy. We're waiting on the left-handed conspiracy. Okay. All right. Okay. Alexa is also lefty. Alexa is that? Oh, Alex. I think it's Alexa. I was like, damn, Amazon. But anyways.
I didn't even know she had hands.
Yeah. So, all right. So yes, left-handed people. So left-handed comics. Comics for right-handed, made by left-handed people. I mean, so we are helping you all out. All right. So getting back to your work. Oh, he says just the four of us. Fantastic Four.
I'm glad we're here.
So, yeah. So, in regards to working traditionally analog wise, what are some of your go-to tools that you like to work with? I love to talk about tools. It's just
okay.
Yeah.
So traditionally, all of my diary comics are done with a I mean, they're not in front of me, so I'm just gonna remember what I use. I'm pretty sure I use a Sakura Pigma Sensei pens. All of the main line work is done with a 0.6 tip.
Okay.
Like that's what gives it the sort of boldness. Like it's kind of big. And the red marker is like a Prismacolor. It's just a red Prismacolor.
Okay.
And then I really like the whole like Sakura Pigma Sensei pens. I got them on jet pens. Just buy a whole bunch of them.
I love jet pens. Sample packs. I just like getting a sample pack, and then you find that new pen. One or two pens that are just like stand out. And then there's some Gundam pens that you can do for multi-line Gundams and stuff like that. So your 0.6, is that what it is, or the 06? So that's sort of going with a chisel or with a brush tip, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I use the chisel
not the big
for
58 one.
Right. Yeah, I use the chisel sometimes to color in black areas. I like it better than the brush tips. I guess it has a little more control. But yeah, for the main line work, I use the 06, which is about weirdly close to being equivalent to like the 1.5 Faber-Castell pen.
Yeah.
I think the 1.5 is a little bigger, but like when they're new, the sharp tips are about the same.
Yeah. So the Faber-Castell pit pens or whatever are hit or miss. Sometimes it might just be user error on my part, but sometimes they're looking like I was done with the Sharpie, and then but then sometimes the like microns, like I get those dead ones where you have to keep it almost vertical in order to try and get flow. And I hate working that way, but I like what you're doing with it. So let's go ahead and check out your website. We're talking about it. Might as well go, and then we'll check and see if the Kickstarter has had any movement.
Sure.
If not, us left-handed people are coming for you. Just letting you all know. So okay, let's go ahead and check out the website. I'm one of those people that have too many tabs. Sorry.
Sure.
Yeah. Share screen. And there we go. Okay. So this is a beautiful site, by the way. Very clean, very aesthetically just bam. Here's some great looking comics, some great looking artwork. And it just lets people kind of navigate really easily. It's I think that engineer background might be coming into play again, so like, we must have order, but
it's true. I do like order.
Yeah. So we've got some hourly comics day, which I love doing that challenge. We got your daily diary.
Yeah. Hourly comics 2020. I did with a ballpoint pen.
Oh, okay. That's even more impressive. I did an hourly comic, and then I just basically been reusing it for assignments and everything else. So, Sleeping Beauty is relatively new, right?
Yeah, I just added that to the website today.
Okay, I'm going to click on it. Let's click on it since it's new.
Well, let's hope it works.
Okay. So,
I didn't get to resize the file, so they might take a little long.
So I will just, we won't spoil everything. We'll just kind of go up to right here. So these are full pages. What page size would this be if it was in print?
Or is that it's half a page. It's like
cool.
5.5 by 8.5.
So that's about the size of the anthologies, I think. Actually, our gnome, what the Gnomes Know, and the first anthology that you all were with. So nice. So behold the Student Council. So Student Councils happens to be one of your regular books or stories, right? That you have. It's a feature on your site.
I'm expanding them into a wider universe. Currently titled the Shining Drill Academy. But at the moment, there's mostly stories about the Student Council. But I sort of I don't know. I have plans to do more stuff about the general student body, and it's just sort of, I like to have kind of a playground of characters to work with. So nice. I haven't really tried that in the past, but that's what I want to do right now.
So when I mentioned that your Clip Studio work versus your analog work still looks really nice and raw enough, I believe this was Clip Studio, was it not?
Yeah, but I also didn't know how to use it nearly as well. So,
I still don't know how to use it. The interface scares the crap out of me. So I'm still like holding back. I have every version since Manga Studio 3.1, and I still don't use it. So it's like someday, one day. But look at this. This is beautiful.
Yeah, I was really like, it was like an early project in CCS, and I really just wanted to show off. So I made everything really, really detailed, but also like I really just didn't know what the different sizes pens would look like printed out. Like this is very much like a first year project, right? Because there's so many things that I like figured out later, like if you do all of your panels using the Clip Studio like panel maker, they're gonna look kind of out of sync with the rest of your art, like all the panel borders, they look super thick and all the rest of the lines are super thin, and I couldn't really tell that until one of our teachers mentioned it in the critique, and I was like, that's a real good point. You
say this is first year, but I say this is just pretty cool, pretty impressive.
I mean, I still really like it, but it's like you can kind of tell how I sort of calmed down in terms of detail levels.
That's funny because I tend to have the reputation of like just going like chaos, and just going for it. But I still feel like that was in a nice control of energy. I feel like the energy was intentional. So the rawness I think still came across really cool looking. So I don't know, maybe I need to get into this Clip Studio still.
It's great. It's basically what I learned on, like more so than Photoshop.
Then maybe what we need to do is talk to you about maybe sometime. I don't know if we can get more stretch goals happening or what, or one day, like, or just like for those that love comics and want to learn more about behind the scenes, maybe we could have you on, if you when your bandwidth is able to talk about Clip Studio and some of the stuff you use and all that. So
yeah, that'd be fun. I mean, there's probably a lot of stuff in Clip Studio that I don't use. Like I see all this art that people make in Clip Studio, and I'm like, I've been using Clip Studio for like a decade, and I don't know how to do that.
I'll be happy when I can get a document set up properly and page set up. I think Ben's tried to help me out, and I'm just kind of like, what? So so now staying on your website, the Daily Diary Comics. I want to come over here because one thing I noticed is that your output is pretty impressive as far as, so those of you like myself who are always stressing that I should do a daily diary comic, a daily comic, a weekly strip and all that, we are doing it wrong. We're like overkilling it, and we're putting stuff on our plate that we probably shouldn't do, especially if you're neurodivergent and have ADHD like myself. But look at what Jess is doing. Jess is just kind of like keeping it to a panel, capturing a moment in the day. And And not only is it like social media friendly as far as format wise, though, it's just like it lets it shine on its own, and then it seems like you can pretty much move about with the rest of your day, or this is happening at the end of the day. So for those that don't know, what's your approach to doing these diary comics?
So, I mean, to be fair, in terms of output, I only really did them for like a year. Like I did like all of
That's still
2020,
impressive.
and then
Yeah.
I just sort of took a year off. But I've been thinking of
Hmm.
getting back into it because
Hmm.
I recently reread a lot of them, and
Okay.
I was just like, wow, I really like just like capturing one moment is all you really need to remember that day. So
Yeah.
like
I'm
it's
taking notes.
it
I'm
works
taking
as
notes.
like an actual diary, I guess. But yeah, like I started doing this because at the time, um like I had a friend who was doing a 4-panel daily diary comic as
Hmm.
a challenge. Um, and I tried doing that for a couple days, and it was
Hmm.
just it was way too much.
Oh yeah.
And our styles are very different. Like
Hmm.
I like to think in gags. Like
Yeah.
I like to think in like comedy, or like
Hmm.
I like to. I think everything has to have like a beginning and end or whatever. And I think like she was doing more. I mean, like she definitely like wraps all of her comics up by the fourth panel, but like to me, it
Hmm.
felt more stream of consciousness, which didn't really mesh with how I tend to work and think. So I tried
Gotcha.
to do this instead, and that's sort of I added the red because I got bored of
Hmm.
doing them in black and white, and also I thought maybe I could get them risograph printed someday, and it would look
Ooh.
cool with one color.
And should you not be able to pull that off, which still would be great, I think the spot reds are beautiful and I love them. This would draw my eye. When I see stuff like this, like black, red, and white, I immediately like pull that out off the rack or off of somebody's table because that's just something I'm just like obsessed with that palette. So I have this little tab highlighted here. I don't know if people can see, but it's the Yonkama examples. I probably butchered that, but we had been talking recently about the 4-panel approach to doing
Oh,
comics,
sure.
and yeah, and so that oddly enough, that was a conversation we had within the last week. In fact, last Monday maybe, or a couple weeks prior to that. And what I love about that is that it's something I'm trying to learn, and I want to teach my students as well. Cause, teaching comics. But you just kind of said something that was really hitting home for me. Is that you're trying to still tell a story, hit the gag, but with one panel, and you're trying to do basically the work of what would be done in 4 with the Yonkana method, but getting it done in one frame. So
I
that's
mean,
pretty
I'm
awesome.
definitely a student of the four coma, like for sure.
Mhm.
Um, like Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun is like one of my favorite manga of all time, and it's like a 4 coma, and yeah, like I really like the like hit gag, right? Like
Mhm.
it just works. But yeah, I was really trying to do that like with one panel.
So would you do it? I'm sorry to interrupt. Would you do it with the sentence structure, or with the like with just like the phrasing, or I guess I don't know. Break it down for us.
Yeah, like well, there's like moments within some of these, like the one with the duck. Like
Oh, let me go up.
each
Okay.
each like thought there is like
Uh
its
huh.
own like mini panel. Like panel
Hmm.
1, there's a duck. Is it gonna quack? Panel 2, the
Hmm.
duck quacks. Panel 3, yes. Panel 4, what passes for entertainment around here, right? Like
This is beautiful. Yeah.
there's 4 beats in that, right?
Yeah.
Like the next one, the one with the waffles, is like one of my favorite ones that I did. Like panel 1, like that guy is significantly less than 6 feet away from me. Like panel 2, got the waffles. Panel 3, just a shot of 72 Eggo waffles. and
And then the
you know,
beans in the cart. The beans in the cart.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
And the giant like 6 pound ground beef. Like Costco's wild.
Yeah.
Um, but
So, so what I like about the duck panel, and I would love, with your permission and consent, to use some of these, for my classes examples as I
oh,
try
for
to
sure.
teach them the gift of comics. Is that you're using the depth of field, so you've already got like a 4 beat thing happening here, but you're using the depth of field, the background, middle ground, foreground, and then breaking the outside the box with the last quote to basically pull off this whole thing, as you were saying, that 4-panel concept, but using the depth of field and the phrases and the lettering, and then finally with the caption at the end. That is brilliant. That is one of the best examples I've seen, or someone break it down for me, how to pull off a 4-beat story or act or sequence. That wasn't like, here's the ball, we're walking to get the ball or throwing the ball or whatever. Like with physical, physically acting, you're having your characters act. This is just everything's mostly stationary, and yet you're still able to pull all of this off. And like, I've learned something new today, and thank you so much, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, it really just kind of helped hone. It just, when someone said it's like beats of poetry, I was like, well, is it really? But then, yeah, no, I get it now. Thank you. So, my students may not thank you, but I mean, I will thank you on their behalf, because I'm going to introduce them to your work. And I think this would really resonate with my students. So, because all of them think that we're just talking about superheroes. Like, we're not even talking about superheroes. We're talking about you. We're talking about what you can do with any story that you want to do, or with photography. Even just take some Insta cameras, photos, and let's throw them into a zine. So this was a nice treat. The Daily Diary comics was a nice treat. At first, I was marveling at the fact that you'd had one single panel to capture the day, like a moment in time. And then we just totally went and pulled off some, like, I don't know, comic kung fu with there's more like 4 beats of time happening here. So yes. JoJo Bizarre Dinner. So my son and I are big time JoJo fans, and I
awesome.
flipped through the comic, and that was really charming. So those of you check that out. There's so much nice comic stuff happening on here. Even with this, when it looks a little bit like it looks a little bit raw, but again,
that was my sketchbook. I had so much fun doing that. Like,
okay, let's check
that's
that
like
out.
one of my favorite things.
Let's check that out. Then we gotta get back to the Kickstarter, because it's Gnomevember still, and we can't But so what did you use on this? This was okay. So this is moleskin and the pit pens that we were talking about. Somewhat. I brought up the pit pens, but yeah. So they do look kind of like Sharpie-ish, but this is still great stuff. I mean, just goes to show that you don't need the best of tools or the most perfect software to pull off comics. You just need to sit down and be motivated enough to try and capture a story. Or so very cool. Okay, so let me go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, this is the first time that I tried using a thicker line. Because before, all of my comics were these really, like, thin, detail heavy lines, and I just liked how bold it turned out, so I kind of just kept using those lines afterwards.
Yeah. So was that the 1.5?
Yeah, so this is the 1.5, and then like later I tried the Pigma Senseis rather than the pit pens, and I ended up liking the Pigma Senseis a little bit better, so I kind of stuck with those.
Let me see if I can pick when I think it happened. Okay, I'm gonna say around right here. Oh, can you see that this panel on the left?
The oh-ho-ho?
Yeah. I'm looking at this line. It looks like there's a little bit more control you have, and I mean, in regards to because like the other ones, the pit pens can bleed. It felt like when I used them, and I don't see that right here. But am I wrong? I mean, I could totally be wrong.
Well, I think all of these. I think this whole first sketchbook was mostly the pit pens.
Okay, so I'm totally wrong. Okay, right. you didn't have to hurt my feelings. You could have just told me. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to here. I'm going to go ahead and give you like a challenge question right now. Then we'll get back to the Kickstarter. And I think I've abandoned our comment section. I want to go ahead and show love.
I keep seeing good comments. So
are you? Okay. I'll do a recap of them. Don't worry. We're going to show your comments. So
sure.
There's more to come. So if you had to pick what comic on this page, even if it's further down, I don't mind scrolling, has the most meaning to you personally?
Well, I mean, I'm now gonna go to my own version of this page and take a peek at it.
Yeah, sure. So while you're thinking that, we'll also ask what comic you think people should check out to first if they're just being introduced to your work. Besides the Gnome anthology, that's the first one they should check out, obviously. But
so I think Sleeping Beauty would be a great one to check out first.
Okay,
that's kind of very much like, you know, I feel like every artist wants to talk about their most recent work, so that's definitely my most recent work.
Okay.
And I feel like it's definitely, I don't know. I don't know where that sentence was going, but like it's fun. And right now I'm very much all about drawing comics that are fun.
Oh, for Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about which one has the most meaning for you? Like,
Which one has the most meaning? I mean, like, I feel like to me that's like which one is the saddest. But
that's fine.
Wake Up New is the saddest, and it's the
Is that
one that's
further
the
down?
most like, yeah.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, it's the one that's the most
Yeah.
personal. It's about a
Uh-huh.
breakup, and it's about like, I don't know, getting so wrapped up in somebody else that you forget who you are, and the process of getting used to yourself again.
Oops.
And
Oh, look at that sequence. Very nice.
yeah, so
It looks like you really got stuff out of this cartoon in comic school.
yeah, yeah.
That's nice.
And then in like a fun way, which one is meaningful to me? Both Serial Experiments Lane pun and Ode to Marty are from a Gilmore Girls fan anthology that I did
Okay,
with
so this is
some
Serial
friends.
Experiments Lane. Nice.
Yeah,
Does it have
anime
Sebastian
fans
Bach in it?
may see the pun. Yeah. Oh my god. Way to know
That's
about Sebastian Bach being in Gilmore Girls. But
yeah, that's my singer. That's I've seen him live. That's my first concert with Guns N' Roses with Skid
wow.
Row. So yeah, I'm old, but yeah, that's one of my
Awesome.
bands.
But yeah, I reimagined Lane as an anime fan instead of a music fan.
Uh-huh.
Entirely because I wanted to have the title be Serial Experiments Lane. And it was basically just like
I love this.
the
I love
whole
this.
Gilmore Girls anthology project was really fun. It was really cool seeing how many people were super into Gilmore Girls at the at comic school. I
That's
don't know
great.
why, but there was like a lot of people who all are really into Gilmore Girls at that school.
This is
And
awesome.
so it was a
Okay,
really fun
I'm gonna
project
bring
to
it
do
back to
with
our
people.
audience, but what I want to say is that holy crud, that was a nice like journey to like what you can do with comics, the breadth of possibilities that exists in our medium. Um, you had stuff that was just catering to some of your the fan fan base stuff, the stuff that you're a fan of, or that other people might be fans of. You had stuff that was personal, but also like maybe minimalist in the line, but yet really 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 like heavy in the content. And then you had other things that were just a little bit more like done just as a documenting of the times we're in, and or just your experiences, like with and you also showed us how to do stuff. But that was as far as like the possibilities of comics. This is definitely going to be bookmarked for me. Have we put the links in the chat yet? Let's do that for those of you who are wanting to go ahead and check this out for yourself, so you can go ahead and open up a tab on your side of things. And then I also will put Jess's Instagram in there, so that way you can also have that to save for later. And for some reason, my social media is like to copy things twice. So you have no excuse. You've got 4 links, 2 of them duplicates. Let's go and check out our comments and see if we have any other questions, because actually, I'll get to the questions here in a second. Let's check out our Kickstarter and see if we have any movement, because I don't know about you, but I'm pretty inspired, especially by talking to Jess and seeing what we just went through with Jess's stuff, and the breadth of work that Jess has. And let's go ahead and refresh. I'm gonna refresh this page. I will not screen share because I know that's probably getting old. So we are at 2,738 with 53 backers 15 days ago. So we need that number to go up, y'all. Okay, we need that to get to at least 3,500 within the next 2 days, and then 4,500 in the next 4 days. So after you're done with your stuffing and your leftovers and all that, don't forget to give yourself dessert and come to this Kickstarter and go ahead and check out the work that we got going on here. All right. Some other bad puns too that don't come to mind right now. It's Monday. I'm still waking up. Okay, let's go and check out our comments. So, all right, we've got a whole alumni of CCS in the chat, which is great. And And then we, while we were talking, we have left-handed. We went over to left-handed conspiracy. So, oh, here we go. Okay, let's threaten people. That always works, right? Okay. So, if you don't back the Kickstarter, we'll swap out all of your scissors for left-handed scissors and laugh at you as you try to cut stuff. So, the resistance will come to you. Will come to your door and take out your scissors and switch them out. So, yes, left-handed. Okay, and then Rainer says, I like 1 in 3 of those pens is a dud. I feel like 1 in 3 of those pens is a dud. We talking about when you buy the Pitt pens, or that tends to be. I
think we're talking about the microns.
Oh, the microns. Yeah. It's always the 8 for me. It's always the 8 that's like dried out. And so. But Alex was really digging this stuff. So when we were looking at that,
Ben, Alex is a Deadline John fan.
Yeah. So Clip Studio is way easier if you've already learned some Photoshop and Illustrator. I would say
vice versa too.
Yeah, I know a little bit of Photoshop and Illustrator. I use them for design, but I still I go to Procreate. Clip Studio is a little bit more intimidating, but then again, it's probably user error on my part. So let's see what else Ben's got. It would be pretty cool to stream where all the camera. Yeah. Okay. I would love to see that. As a fan and the person watching the streams, I would check in for all the camera crew to go and do Clip Studios and like, hey, here's how I do this. Here's my workflow. Here's how I ink this page, or have you used this rule or template before and all that. So Jess, if that's something you might be interested in the future, I think Ben will be in contact. Okay.
You guys where to find me.
Yep. We have some questions for you. So do you think, Rainer asked, do you think doing them changes your process for comics? Yeah, it made sense. Rainer, we're talking about.
I remember this was about the diary comics.
I thought so. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm a lot faster now. And I think I didn't used to have to put so much effort into one panel. So now I feel like I have a better sense of how to like how much background to show in order to do like exposition in one panel. And yeah, I guess like use like depth of field a little more.
Yeah, very impressive, by the way. Jess, I want to see you do even better, because if I'm inspired and want to share this with my classroom, I have a suggestion. You take it or leave it. I tend to do these things because ideas come at me. But I think just in this conversation so far, we're only at 7:53. We're not even an hour in yet. I've already gotten a lot of value out of talking with you and looking at your stuff. And I think you just sharing a little bit of here's how I do this, here's how I do that, and a little zine, little diary drawn zine would kill and fly off your table and fly off the website. You know what I mean? Like because again, I got a lot of value, and I'm thinking if this was able to be in other people's hands, or when that art teacher comes up with the students and asks all the questions, you're like, here's the book,
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So, and I would definitely get that, and I would make that a part of my curriculum in my class. So, because again, I got a lot of value just out of going through and seeing how you approach things. And we have even more process questions and stuff on how you do things.
Awesome.
So this has legs.
Yeah, so, I haven't gotten to talk about this stuff in a while. So
these are creators that are asking you these things. We're like, well, how'd you pull this off? How'd you do this? It's like, okay, sensei, share with us. So, all right. So, some people are dropping some names in here. I don't know who this is. Ben usually knows
Nozaki-kun.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Nozaki-kun is the 4-panel manga that I mentioned.
Okay, cool.
The anime is very funny, and it very faithfully like goes with the beats of the manga. But like the manga is a real masterclass in how to do like very funny 4-panel comics. Okay. So if that's something you want to get good at, I really recommend it.
I'm going to go ahead and open up a tab by myself so I can bookmark that. So there we go. Okay, I've got that now, so I can go and check that out now. Sweet. Yeah, I'm looking for examples, not for myself, but to share. Here's another compliment. Your use of black space is excellent, especially when you isolate your character for the Gilmore Girls riff on the opening splash shot, where you have the character all in black centered, and then all the nice environment stuff, all those little drawings on the room. That it's all scenery that we could chew on. We could sit there and look at things, and that would also be. Remember, I don't know if you remember back in the day, they used to have really nice, clever front pages to websites before everything had to be streamlined and aesthetically boring, I guess. So your splash page could be like they could click on different things of books to go to this, to go to
Oh,
that.
that'd be really
Like
cute.
websites used to be
Yeah.
fun, but then someone said that, hey, that's not good design, and then we all kind of went modular, and that was it. And
It's true.
you know,
I definitely remember the old,
yeah.
early
So
2000s internet. Like what
yes,
a I don't know, what a fun time.
yeah. I mean, there were. It was kind of like, well, I'm dating myself, but like MySpace, where there was just stuff to do, stuff to keep you on that page a little bit longer or that website a little bit longer. And it's funny because nowadays social media is all about keeping you, or YouTube and all that is all about keeping you as long as they can on something. But then they stripped away in design the thing that would have kept people engaged and on there so
Yeah.
long. It's just like okay, let's I guess we're doing this now. So, but we got more praise. Let's see what we got. JoJo's Bizarre Dinner. You thought you were passing the rules, but it was me, Dio.
I know.
uh,
Also, one of the
I
diary
love it.
comics on my site is like a JoJo reference. The
Okay,
6 pound can of tomato
I'm gonna go
sauce.
back and look at that. So,
It's approaching me.
yeah, who's your favorite character if you had to pick?
Oh, it's Caesar. That's
Caesar.
why I
Okay, okay,
did
okay,
JoJo's
okay,
Bizarre
okay.
Dinner, because I wanted Joseph and Caesar to live happily ever
Ever
after.
after. It's like I ship them, and
I
we're
just
gonna make this
really,
ship sail.
yeah,
So,
exactly. I really love characters that are, I don't know, kind of haughty and like
yeah.
think that they're too good for stuff. It really makes me laugh. So that's why I
Yeah.
like Caesar.
So I love
Direct
this. Oh yeah. Well, we'll get to the question, but I love the second, the second JoJo, the
Yeah.
who's now Grandpa, but
Yeah, Joseph.
just because
He's
I
my
didn't know
favorite
what you're
JoJo
gonna
too.
say is, so me and my son went around for weeks, and then the next thing you're gonna say is, and we would like quote each other, pre-quote each other before. So just a snark. I love the snark, but I eventually come to love like almost all of them, even Jolene and all that. So the question that Ben has for you is, do you draw at that size? So what size? I guess what's your original doc size digitally, and what do you like to draw at physically when you do go analog? Which you said
So
you kind of miss.
for the gnomes, this past time I drew bigger,
Hmm.
because I am using thicker pens. I didn't want
Hmm.
to swap out for a thinner pen, so instead I drew bigger. But for everything else, I draw at size, and
Hmm.
it's like the Sleeping Beauty comic was drawn at size. It was drawn on like an 8.5, like a 5x8 sketchbook.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and that is entirely to stop me from putting too much detail into anything.
Okay.
And because I really tire my hand out.
Hmm.
Like I draw my number one tool is my thumb brace, because I tend to tire myself out when I draw. So
Hmm.
um, and the more detail I put in things, like if I'm using a small pen, if I have a big space to fill, I'll put more details in, and then I'll just get tired faster. And if it takes me too long to finish something, I get annoyed at it.
Hmm.
So like I like to do things that I can finish quickly. So I like
So
to
is
draw
that
at
the key?
size.
Is that the key to your diary comics? Getting that establishing shot for the day? Do you draw at that size? What size is that again? What'd you
I
say?
drew all of the diary comics
Hmm.
in a like a 5x8 moleskin,
Okay.
and the comics themselves, like the notebooks aren't square, but the comics are square, so I draw
Yeah.
them at about like 4x4.
Okay. Okay. It's interesting you mentioned the size and drawing at scale because to avoid cramming things or just to kind of control yourself basically, right? To self edit. Because I
I think that
draw.
was something Alec Longstreth suggested.
Oh,
Draw
okay.
smaller.
All right, awesome. I picked up a whole stack of different size books that are like smaller, like sketchbook size, that, so that way I could kind of go with a minimal approach to making comics, and each book would have their own format for like its own social media platform or whatever. Crazy, I know, but I mean, I saw I think Lance Ward, I believe, on Instagram doing them at that almost like 5x7 size or a little bit bigger than that, the 5x8. And I was like, these are awesome. He can only fit about 2 panels on it because he is filling the pages with all this detail. And so it's like, what do you want? Do you want more detail or do you want more narrative? Like how do you want to tell your story? There's both ways of telling story. Some it's environmental, some it's like the scene tuning that we talked about, or just the depth of field, effect. And some are like, no, we're narratively going to go through these sequence of panels, and so therefore I'm gonna have to make my line more minimal and background light. So that's a fun challenge. I think us comic heads get into that kind of like play space, that sandbox, and we're just like, yeah, I can't wait to draw myself out of this corner or into the corner, whichever one works, depending on the social media platform you're on. But we do have another question. The draw it size, I love what I'm hearing. Oh, we're back to Gilmore Girls. Okay, so Ben needs to get a copy of that Gilmore Girls fan comic for his mom, and then you need to watch Gilmore Girls with your mom, Ben. What season should Ben? What's the hitter? What's the hitter season?
Personally, season 1 is really perfect, like from beginning to end. However, controversial opinion, I also really love season 4. Like I think 1 through 4 are like all my favorites because the early college episodes I think are really funny because Maria has this insane roommates. And like there's like the spring break episode, they're all very fish out of water, like doing spring break when they're all like huge nerds. But also like season 1 like establishes the universe really well. I think Chilton, the school, was a big source of inspiration because I really love how well it matches up with this sort of like elite anime academy like thing that keeps popping up in anime, like the super powerful student councils. I feel like even though normally Gilmore Girls and anime don't have that much in common, like the like
I don't know. I feel like
My Hero Academia.
I feel like there's tropes that are fluid. Like My Hero Academia gives me drama, like you know what I mean, like some of them CW shows. So I feel like there might be a little more crossover than we're giving credit for. I feel like Gilmore Girls was always meant to be animated, just in your hands. So Ben says he's seen a lot of Over the Mom's Shoulder. Well, not his jam. Okay. All right. Well, as my old age happens, I tend to be open to more things than I was like. That's not my jam back then because
opinion,
So we did have a question regarding Rizzo, and I would not be a good indie cartoonist or interviewer if I didn't go back to the vaunted Rizzo, because everyone drools when they see it in person.
I want to. Yeah. I actually so basically I just haven't been able to. I haven't been able to print anything with Rizzo yet, but I want to. Oh, other than I did a workshop, a Rizzo workshop once where I printed out I drew like a little 1-page thing and printed it there. But I really just haven't figured out like where to get things printed. But I was at Mice Expo in Boston just recently, and I was talking to somebody who had Rizzo prints, and I was like, where do you get these printed? And so they gave me some info, but also the guy at the table next to them was like, if you're looking for somewhere to print Rizzo zines, I know a guy. So that was just pretty recent, so I haven't been able to get in contact with them yet, but I have leads. I have leads on Rizzo, so hopefully my next print run of the Deadline comics will be Rizograph printed.
You probably described the same 2 guys that were at CXC that I talked to, or that were at SBX. It's probably the same 2 guys that hit all the shows we all hit. So
yeah, exactly.
So awesome, Rizzo. So if you had your choice, okay, I know any one of us, if we had a chance to access Rizzo, we would go with whatever was available. But if you had your choice of like Rizzo color, would you try and go would you go for the lemonade colors that I call lemonade?
Oh, they're so cool.
Right, or the highlighter ones, or would you go for the red, like the red and stuff that would fit more your comic that you have?
Well, I mean, for the comic that I drew, since I drew it in red and black, I kind of figured it would like that I would print it in red and black, especially because I feel like red and black is kind of threatening, and like your Deadline should be threatening,
Yeah, I mean those are my colors, so it's. But I love them, but because there's an intensity to them. You're completely right. So Muglos. Apologies if I butchered that. But Ben can't get over this Gilmore Girl thing. We're going back, Ben.
Michelle is a great character.
Michelle,
so
yeah, look at this.
That's
So,
pretty great.
okay,
I feel like if I really had to, it's like I don't think I could pick a favorite, but like the show really wouldn't be what it is without Kirk. So
okay.
there's
So Ben, we need
another
to go
Gilmore
back to
Girls opinion.
CX3. We need to
Michelle
go back to
also is
CX3
amazing,
and
though.
tell them about this idea.
Do
All
it for
right.
Kirk.
So Jess Tweed, I believe that you were about to open up a school inadvertently, the school of Jess Tweed of doing comics, because we're getting a lot of value and ideas from you.
Awesome.
So I'm going to make sure I credit you whenever I ape something that you did. I'm not going to do the Gilmore Girls. I'm going to find another show. But I think that would be a fun anthology or like an Instagram anthology for a collective of comic creators like our CX3 group to pick their show that they're going to, their fan favorite show and just kind of like, to emote about it. But, so I don't know, maybe I'll call it the Jen Tweed Challenge or something. I don't know. But, yeah, so that way we can get all the Japanese have all these cool names and the aesthetics and everything. Everyone's naming them after. It's like we got to get some of that CCS, in the lexicon and everything like that. Some of the alumni out there, and people following your examples, unless you want to be one of a kind. I mean, so
I don't even know what I am yet.
Okay.
So.
All right. Okay. All right. So yes, we've as Moogloss or Los says, it's a fun community in regards to the indie scene with the risographs and our various mice, SPX, CXC,
I know. I love going
to
conventions. I haven't been to TCAF yet. I really want to.
That's on my bucket list.
I've heard it's very manga forward compared to some of the other cons.
Yeah.
And I know they get like manga artists as guests. And like if I got to meet one of the manga artists I grew up reading, I would like freak out. So
that'd be awesome. Who's that artist, by the way? Or just anyone, or did you have one in mind?
Well, I mean, in previous years, I think at TCAF they've had like Inio Asano and like Rumiko Takahashi, who I would. I mean, I think that might have been like the year. I don't remember if that happened or whether it was like a COVID year, but like if I could meet Rumiko Takahashi, I would like die.
That's,
but
Ranma 1/2 and what else? Inuyasha?
Ranma 1/2 was Ranma 1/2 was like one of the first manga that I read.
Yes, I was in high school when I first saw that, and I'm pretty old.
Correct, Ben.
Yeah. So what's funny about Inuyasha is that we're going to, because what I was looking at your work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the one that Alex likes. I'm sorry, I'm just learning the names again. But oh crap, our first scam. But anyways, yeah. So hold on. Sorry, I gotta do some maintenance. Okay. I honestly felt like I was getting that Inuyasha vibe from it. From let me go to your website to re-say it again, because like Alex is a fan, so he knows it. But where are we at? Where's your comic? Oh no, did I lose it already? How did I lose that? Or is that because it's Is that because it's on your Instagram? It's on your Instagram.
Oh, Deadline Chan? Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Okay. So Deadline Chan. So I was getting an Inuyasha vibe from it, and I almost said it earlier, but now that you've invoked the creator, then like I guess it's okay to say. So
sure.
Was there any influence at all, like derived from that, or is that just me like pulling stuff together and making it fit?
It's more like I feel like she's just supposed to be like a sort of general like platonic ideal of anime girl, just like an anime girl that goes oh ho ho, I mean that's I feel like that's the concept behind like the drill hair screen name is just like the really over the top sort of like stereotypes that only exist within anime, like oh like there's a girl with big drill hair and she's super rich and laughing at us and going oh ho ho, like that's not that doesn't exist. That exists nowhere.
Is that mean?
Yeah, it's like it's hair that's in the shape of a drill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought we were just doing some steampunk thing and all that, but okay, cool. All right. See, that's clever. I like that. And I think you just entered a new phrase or word in the vocabulary of indie, lexicon. So I hope you like hashtag that sucker. Speaking of influences, let's just talk about your influences. We kind of already navigated there. Once again, you're kind of like just steering, the ship and where we go. And
Well,
then
I
we'll get
think
back
Ben
to
had
Christine.
a comment in the comment
I
section
was
that's
trying to be a little bit
specifically
more.
about that.
He did, but this was also in relation to the spam bot that just spammed us. So it was a bad joke. So yeah, we had some spam bots in there, and so in regards to your influences thistles, I don't think that was the inspiration for Thistle. We're going to talk about Thistle.
No, well, Holic, XXX Holic is the name of a manga that was very much the influence.
Oh, okay. That was just bad timing then. We had a spam bot that had
timing.
XXX, and I thought Ben was just being cute.
I think it's just, I think Ben like summoned it by.
Okay.
By
I'll put it back on here then. Okay, Ben. We're still PG today, so I think so PG-13. All right. Not that we have to be. I mean, if you have to let the F-bombs flow and drop, you have to let the F-bombs flow and drop. But no. So yeah, was Thistle influenced at all by this manga?
So Holic, also people will also sometimes call it like Triple X Holic or XXX Holic. I just tend to shorten it because it's faster. It's a manga by Clamp, and Clamp are definitely the biggest influences of especially my like early work, but like still like currently. You might know them from like Cardcaptor Sakura or Chobits.
Gotcha.
And Holic was like, it just, I don't know, it really like resonated with me, and too much maybe, but it's always been it's not like a perfect manga, like, but it is like my heart's favorite manga, and like I haven't done a lot of fiction that's not influenced by my life at all, and I really wanted to try doing that. Like my story for our last anthology was very much influenced by real life, and I wanted to kind of get farther and farther away from that. So instead, I sort of like I don't really have any prior knowledge of gnomes, so like it was just sort of when I think about gnomes, I think about Over the Garden Wall because of Wirt's costume that looks like a gnome. And then when I think of Wirt, I think Wirt reminds me a lot of Watanuki, who is the main character from Holic, because they're both kind of nervous in the same way. And so then I thought, like, okay, like Holic archetypes as gnomes, right? The thing I tried to really be very analytical when I was writing, like to kind of help. I tried to break down like not just that I like this manga, but what do I like about it? And what I like, my favorite stories from Holic are ones where Watanuki learns an important lesson about not being self-sacrificing, and so I thought I would have a character learn an important lesson about not being too self-sacrificing, but the characters are a bit inspired by the Holic characters, especially the sort of banter that they have between them.
And we're looking at one of the pages out of Thistle, which in reference to what you're talking about. So
and the hat's over the garden wall. I made him.
Yeah,
I gave him his hat.
Yeah, it sounds like it's like an inspired narrative with a lot of heart, and some weight to it. So again, you're doing that balancing act of like, hey, here's some cute, somewhat adorable type of artwork, but then here's like a story that has some weight to it, and we're going to basically catch you off guard, maybe, and in a good way. So yeah, awesome. So in regards to your influences, thank you for sharing that with us in regards to how your contribution to what the Gnomes Know was about. So we have to get this number moving eventually, y'all, but let's keep talking to Jess and let's keep going from there. Oops. So I should have probably done that before. So, okay. So we have, Yeah, I love what Ben says. We've had a number of contributors that weren't that familiar with gnomes and came up with really creative and out of the box stories as a result. That fish out of water thing, or throwing the fish into the other type of water. You know what I mean? I love that because it kind of it you don't know what it's going to bring out, but I almost always think it'll bring out something interesting and something that maybe surprises the creator themselves as well as maybe the audience. You know, so truth and fiction, so as it were. But awesome. So we probably got about 15 minutes left if we want to end it on the half-hour mark. So it sounds like anime is a big part of it, of influence. It sounds like you also have like to you touch and go with memoir, whether it be through a fan favorite, a show that you liked, or an experience. What else? Give me something that maybe people may not associate with comics, that or television even, that's kind of a big influence to you and influences your creating. Doesn't have to be comics. Any way you want to create.
I think I'm very influenced by sitcoms.
Sitcoms, okay.
Yeah.
I said no television, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but it's not comics, also true. I'm like, I don't know, I'm very into like I care a lot about music too.
Okay.
Because of anime, I got really into J-pop
nice.
and J-rock at a really formative age. And and so in recent years I've also gotten into K-pop. And I think I don't know, the sort of stories that like surround like the groups get you invested just as much as the music does.
Really I go on Twitter sometimes. I'm like, wow, and then sometimes one of the K-pop stars will have the same name as somebody else that I know and associate. So I think some big news just happened about someone I know. I go and it's like, wait a minute, this is a K-pop person. I don't know who this is, but apparently they're very important, and everyone's really concerned about them. So, all the best to them. Right now I got Game of Thrones playing upstairs. My wife's binging through this from season 1. So if you happen to hear that, that's what that is. So it's not my theme music, but okay. So sitcoms, which is probably where I'm assuming you get some of those beats and comedic timing from. Yeah. K-pop,
totally.
Anime scores, and like just the soundtrack, like they put out some bangers, like all the different Naruto ones I love. The Attack on Titan.
Naruto
that first one on Attack on Titan, I was like, whoa, I'm gonna get up and go fight some giants. You know what I mean? So it's just the heart.
I really love the kind of punk sound to all of the like early Naruto openings.
Yeah, the little guitar, or just that Dragon Ball Z guitar, because my son's rewatching Dragon Ball. Well, he's watching Dragon Ball for the first time. He's only about to be 13, discovering Dragon Ball, and that's been out since I was younger. So that's what I love about anime so much, is that, and why there's 4 different queues of anime in my house. I think I say this every show now, but it's true though, because like, other than my wife, all of us watch anime and we all have our shows. And I look at it as a way to introduce some things or to see what they're watching and get introduced to new shows. And it's really fun to have that experience, to be able to share it with somebody. And but I love how your comics are taking what you enjoy. It's like they're creative with heart and soul, which is, I think, really important. And I think that resonates from a creator to potential readers, is when something's created with heart and soul. Like, I think it'll find its audience, it'll resonate, and it's just kind of like the anime and the K-pop and things of that nature. The way those are crafted, there's obviously a huge demographic. It took over all the bookstores, right, on all that. I mean, you had this little shelf for Marvel and DC and all the regular US comics, and the manga was just rows and rows. I'd walk in.
I remember the days of like going into Borders and like only seeing manga in like the children's section, like before they had really gotten it into its own zone.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like expanded so much, even in America, even within the last like 10 or 15 years.
It's the norm now, and I think it's the top selling stuff. But besides Scholastic and maybe Rain and all them, I'm not sure who takes the top. I'm not a numbers person, but what I do remember is young girls just sitting down there on the floor next to the section and reading. And
that was me.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I'm like things just changed, and for in a good way, in a great way, because now we have so much options when it comes to reading. Like, if you're tired of your capes and cowls, you have so many stories that are waiting for you to discover them, and I just love it. So it's awesome. So let's see here. We covered manga, we covered sitcoms, we covered Gilmore Girls, and then music-wise, okay, let me ask you if you're a fan of something that I really like, K-dramas.
Ooh,
I
I
love
haven't seen
K-dramas.
that many.
Have you seen the big ones, the bangers as I call them?
What are the big ones?
Okay, so Squid Games.
Oh yeah, I loved Squid
Okay,
Game. Oh my god, it was so
all
good.
of us are dead.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay, I feel like All of Us Are Dead is a natural progression after Squid Games.
Okay,
So
that's good to know.
yeah. So and there's so many more that keep coming out that I haven't been able to catch up with. I'm looking forward to eventually, checking out. We have a question though. What is your favorite sitcom? Speaking of sitcoms.
So I guess it depends on your definition of sitcom, right? But
Oh,
I'm
you're in control.
rewatching.
This is your
Yeah,
interview.
I'm
Yeah.
rewatching Community right now,
Oh.
and so I watched it for the first time when it was out, like when it was
Hmm.
airing, and this is my first time rewatching it since then. And
Hmm.
like, boy, it's good. It's
Yeah.
given me so many ideas about writing. Like I have right now kind of my writing style right now is that I tend to write one page at a time because
Hmm.
I find writing long stories daunting, like
Yeah.
scary. It's like too much.
Yeah.
But when I've been watching Community, I know that Dan Harmon had this really, really specific sort of like hero's journey
Hmm.
inspired like method of sitcom writing.
Hmm.
And I think like I want to try to take that and use it in the next like longer story that I write. Because like I don't know, I just find like the sort of the story wheel very interesting. Yeah, I love. I don't know. You know what? There's like a lot of love for Frasier, and I think it's very well earned.
Hmm.
Like there's just something kind of timeless about it. Oh, I really love not sitcoms, but like I really love like crime procedural shows,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
like comedy
That's
ones.
his house, not me, but yeah, yeah.
I
So
really, really loved recently Only Murders in the Building. It was
okay.
just like everything that I like about a show. Like it was a murder, but also it was really funny and it had this
Hmm.
sort of like this like old Hollywood comedy timing to it. But like
Kind of like Clue.
also, yeah, but also like
Yeah.
it has like this like meta commentary going on. And I
Yeah.
think if there's a genre that I like more than any other genre, it's parody. So like
Parody. Yes.
the fact that it is a parody while also being a mystery is like so good. It's my
Awesome.
favorite. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your writing process because I think people that are into comics or into wanting to get into them would love to know how you break that down. So I totally can feel you on the breaking it down, something that's daunting into more digestible, task. So when you say you only write one page at a time, like what kind of length of time are we talking about? Like is it like daily or is it like once a week or when you're feeling it?
I would
Like how
try.
do you go about it?
Well, it I guess it depends. When I was writing the Gnomes project,
Hmm.
I wrote in like 3 page chunks. You
Okay.
know, I had a kind of an idea of where I wanted the story to go, and then I just like kind of wrote. Um, I tend to write like dialogue first,
Yeah.
so um, it's that like kind of like witty sitcom background,
Yeah.
right? That I tend to write like dialogue. So I would just sort of be like, okay, here's the scene, and then I feel like I put it into sort of like a black box, like in my head. So like, here's the scene. Here's the like the input of what emotional beat needs to happen in this scene,
Hmm.
um, and like who's there, and
Hmm.
also like what's the main emotional beat of the scene, and also in the background, what relationships between characters are we establishing at the same time.
Hmm.
So then put all those things in my head, and then I try to draw a scene that has all of those things in them. So, if the main thing that we need to know in the scene is that one character is fighting off illness and getting worse, like in Thistle. I really try not to tell too much, show somebody coughing, right? Show two people but you lunch because you're too infirmed to go to school, unclear, wherever they normally are. But meanwhile, in the background, the other two characters that brought you lunch are bickering. So we know that they have a relationship where they're close, but also not that close, they're close, but in a sort of contentious rivals to lovers way.
So everything you just said, put that in that zine we were talking about. That how to, because in addition to the art and the approaches that you did, what you just were able to digest and break, what we were able just to break down and tell us and paraphrase is again like awesome. That's stuff that people are like, oh, okay, that's really helpful. And then they'll keep you at your table as a barnacle, sitting at your table, getting all this information from you. And then while your other customers are like, maybe wandering away. So that if you have it in the book, you can, sit there and say, no, you are giving the gift of knowledge right now. And I know I really appreciate that. And I'm just like, that's why it's like, you know what, if I'm appreciating that, there's got to be so many other people out there that would appreciate that. And I would love for you to get your flowers in regards to, to people knowing what you bring to the table. So we have more questions. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Very interesting. Is this another genre you might be,
Yeah. I mean, I think that would be really the idea of writing a mystery is so terrifying. Because what if I do it wrong? But I think I'm going to do what I do with everything else, where I sort of start out by copying the bones from something else. And then that's a really good way to get started. I would love to. I have two characters that I'm working on right now within the Drill Academy Student Council universe that are the Paranormal Investigation Club. And I want to do kind of X-Files type stories with them because I think that's very fun. And
then
why
if
not?
You end up
Supernatural
completely if you end up completely foobarring it, you can always say, "Oh no, it wasn't me. It was the characters that were trying to write the story and go meta on it." So that's your out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we have a link to the Kickstarter as well inside the comments section. Again, I'm actually I don't know how much more I could say that thank you for providing a lot of value in regards to your process and all that. I wasn't expecting that because it tends to not everyone wants to get into that kind of stuff or hasn't really thought about it. But you've shown us a few new tricks, I think, and I think I know I'll definitely pick up that book if you ever get around to doing it, or if you ever want to come on or whether it be canon write or whatever and do something long term. I definitely think I think you could totally do a workshop, honestly. So
cool.
Do the workshop, buy the zine, you get this whole package ready to go, because that one diary comic, I'm totally going to look into that. I don't know if I could sum it up, as you can tell I ramble, but I mean, I want to try. That's a good exercise for the students too, just an icebreaker. Sum it up in one panel, and then how you said writing, how you break down your writing, and how you just go about that. And then as far as some of your other approaches to the other comics that you did, as well as doing clip studio and traditional, and brave enough to do it on moleskin. I'm assuming the bled. Did you have to go and skip a couple pages, or
the artist pens don't really bleed, especially if you get the art moleskins. They're paper. Then
so there's no ghosting on the other side.
No, not really.
So you were able to use both sides of the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice trick, nice tip. So let's talk about where everyone can find you.
Yeah.
If we're getting this much value and information out of you, then they got to be able to go and follow you wherever you're at on social media and your websites, because obviously, as we've proved, that you have a lot to offer and give. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the banners, and I'll throw the comments as well in this section. So we have your website. Okay, so let's throw that once again in the comments section, where you can see all these different examples of comics that Jess has done that we're talking about. And the proof is in the production. So definitely please check that out. That's Jess's website. And then we also have Jess's social media on Instagram, where there's even comics currently happening that I didn't see on the website. So it would be in your interest to check out both places and give Jess a follow, so that way you can follow some of the newer stuff that Jess has going, as well as some of the anime inspired work, or as I was saying, remind me of Inuyasha. So let's throw that inside the chat for those of you who would like to just copy and paste it and don't want to take a screenshot. And then, Jess, if they really, really, really want to get first dibs on things like that, you also have a Patreon, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know, some of this teaching stuff we were talking about, that might be some extra tiers you can add here soon.
That's a good idea.
I mean, it's worth it. So, okay, here's the Patreon, and let me throw it in the comic section. And again, you can check out some of Jess's upcoming work in What the Gnomes Know, is the current anthology that we all are a part of. So there's that. And let's see. Let me check that Kickstarter one last time. I'm not going to do a screen share, but we need to get that moving, and you need to check out Jess's stuff and everyone else's stuff in there. So we got a few more days, 15 more days to go to get this Kickstarter going to the upper echelon of potential that it could really reach. So it didn't like my link right there, so I don't know why, but okay. And also, as for myself, you can find me here, if it'll show it. Oh, I guess it doesn't want to show it. So I don't know what's going on.
It was scrolling
at
the bottom.
Oh, okay. I'm on the bottom. I'm scrolling on the bottom. Okay. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. I gotta get the hang of this stuff. Technology. This is why I'm an artist, not an engineer. So, but once again, let's go ahead and put the last banner, the Kickstarter banner again, on there. And Jess Tweed, thank you so much. Again, got a lot of value out of this conversation. And
awesome.
I think people should definitely tune into the replay if you want to get a lot of tips and a lot of behind the scenes on how Jess creates work, and how Jess's process and problem solving might be able to help you out if you're stuck creatively, or if you want to just get started in telling comics and all that. And go check out the What the Gnomes Know anthology, because some of this insight that we're talking to Jess about, now that we've proven the proof of concept is out there in virtual world, let's get it in the print page. And if you get us to that goal of 3,500, then that gets that Q&A where we can maybe have some questions that people might want to specifically ask Jess, that can get put back in that book. So you have it in print, you have it almost like a manual, you have your gnomes and you have your info. And then if we even get higher than that, then there's even more behind the scenes. And again, I mean, you never know what you're going to get from Jess, as well as other creators.
I have a little fun fact.
Go for it.
Thistle in What the Gnomes Know is, I'm pretty sure, my first full color comic that I've ever done. So
okay, so
pretty exciting.
The inaugural first coloring, full color comic from Jess Tweed is going to be in What the Gnomes Know. So please check that out. Jess, is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience out there and in general? Thank you so much for coming on, but the floor is yours.
I feel like I should say something witty. Never give up, never surrender.
There we go. And keep it known, yo. So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.